Fortnite OG will go down as one of the greatest surprises in gaming history. Nobody expected a throwback season, and with nearly 12 million concurrent players at one point, Epic really kept their promise in delivering a season that allowed us to relive the glory days that was Chapter 1. And even if you weren't an actual OG of Fortnite, but you got to partake in this OG season, and even though it could really never hit the highs that we experienced back in 2018, it once again proved that the basic gameplay of this game, coupled with your best friends, was still some of the best fun gaming has to offer. And with Fortnite OG 2 right around the corner, we have to ask ourselves, can we actually break that 12 million concurrent mark, or is it just too soon? Drink your water. One of the main reasons that Fortnite OG was so popular was that we hadn't played that map, that game, in almost 5 years. And the Fortnite community shared this weird sentiment for the first time that this game was actually in the decline.
That's it, man. Game over, man.
For years, Fortnite really has been the most undisputed dominant game out there. But over the last couple years, both culturally and statistically, the numbers don't lie. Which is natural. Everything has a prime. Not everything can stay in first place forever. And that's not to say things can't happen to bring this game back to the undisputed forefront. And with Fortnite OG 2 dropping so soon, it might be going back into that same well a little bit too early. I'm not sure if enough time has passed that people are really yearning for the idea to go back and play Chapter 2. While yes, the map was really awesome, and again, it wasn't Chapter 1's map. I mean, tell me, do you even know 3 POIs off of the Chapter 2 map as relative to the Chapter 1 map?
You're not that guy.
Tilted Towers, Pleasant Park, Retail Row. Chapter 2, Lazy Lakes, the place underneath that I used to always land. You see what I mean? I generally can't even remember 2 places from Chapter 2. And yes, I am an idiot. With Reload now being accessible at all times, that appeal, that need to play old Fortnite is actually fulfilled on a regular basis. Then there's the idea that Chapter 2 simply just never was as popular as Chapter 1. Now granted, during this Chapter 2 time, we saw our peak numbers in Fortnite. But this had a lot to do with the pandemic and people having to stay inside. You could genuinely make the case that there has never been a time in history where as many people were at home playing video games than during this time.
I'm way too big to drive to the devil's house.
And yes, there are a lot of fond memories back in Chapter 2. If you think back to those first 3 seasons, there were some real low points there. I mean, Chapter 2 Season 1 was the longest season in Fortnite history. You could make a huge argument that the way Epic handled the transition from Chapter 1 to Chapter 2, the timing, the black hole, was just a massive L because of how many people lost interest in that time. It just wasn't the black hole where you couldn't even play the game for 3 days, which in today's society is like an absolute eternity for these kids because they're just going to develop a new habit. But then the start of Chapter 2 just wasn't that awesome once the allure of the new map wore off. There was a time right before cars were in the game, but also right after they removed all the water, where you generally had to run for almost 5 minutes before you got into any fight. For so many in the Fortnite community, this was an absolute low point for them. One of the most fun parts of Fortnite is its movement, its mobility, the way we get around the map. And with the Chapter 2 map being even bigger than the Chapter 1 map, but with absolutely no way to get around but by running, and there wasn't even sprinting at the time, it just makes you wonder how many players are really yearning to play that time again. As we've been told, Fortnite OG 2 will only cover the first 3 seasons of that chapter, which makes sense because of the Marvel season we just had, and to go back into another Marvel themed area, it would be a little too soon. Serious, drink your water. Then there's the idea that Chapter 1 was just so much more significant when it came to its impact on culture. There was really a time where people were posting their wins on their stories on every platform. If you did that now, people would just laugh at you and unfollow you. Almost every one of my channel's viewers is not subscribed to the channel. Do me a huge favor and hit that subscription button. We're trying to get monetized. My dog and I. And by the time Chapter 2 came around, there was also this other sentiment, this idea that the skill floor and ceiling had both raised so high that it was just not fun to play this game anymore. What the pandemic did to gaming is something that we could talk about and study all day. But one of the biggest changes in gaming was just how good so many people had gotten over that time. And naturally, as kids who got to stay at home and play all day long, while the adult player base had to slowly go back out and start working, really started to see this huge gap between the two. That's where the little Timmy meme really comes from. People don't like to play things that they can't win at. And a lot of people started to think they had no chance at ever winning a Fortnite game because these little kids would just trash on them every game.
I hate it here!
So naturally, they started to look elsewhere to play other games. Many people blame the introduction of Playground and its impact on how people could just sit in there all day long and practice their edits and their building. And of course, when you consider Fortnite is also 1 year older. And even though Fortnite has done a lot of great things lately, it's no secret that the Battle Royale is no longer their primary concern. It's no longer their focus. With so many different game modes that are making them so much money, it's only natural that the one thing they used to only focus on, the Battle Royale, is going to take a back seat and not feel the same as it doesn't have the same love and attention it once had. Overall, I just just don't know if Fortnite OG 2 is going to hit the same as the OG 1 did. While myself and so many people are extremely excited, it just feels like the environment, the atmosphere of Fortnite is just so different than it was a year ago, especially with Reload, that this is just not going to hit the same. Of course, I'm not going to complain. I can't wait to hot drop on Lazy Lake every single game. And also that one place that's below Lazy Lake. What is the name of that place? Let me know in the comments. What are you most excited about Fortnite OG 2? Do you think it's going to flop? Am I completely wrong? And let me know where you're going to drop first when it comes out. As always, hit that sub button and turn on notifications. Go out there and do something great.